Mos Eisley Spaceport, you will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. You must be cautious.
We are all humans, even you, of a soul.
I say we take off and nuke the entire site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
I was just thinking. That's what I was afraid of. Holy frack.
This is the IFB Thursday night broadcast.
That's gonna work great, man. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And bam, welcome to season 6
Let's get this party
of
started.
IFB Interfleet Broadcasting. Yes, this is our award-winning pop culture, sci-fi, entertainment, and news channel. And I'm New York Pete, your co-host, and my best buddy is Chris, the Tipsy Toaster. And we're bringing you our unique twist of growing up watching and reading all that great 70s, 80s, and some 90s TV, movies, you know, the cartoons and the comic books, novels, and of course going to conventions. And we are really big Battlestar Galactica fans. So welcome everyone. I saw a whole bunch of you there on. I tried to make sure I catch you as you come up on the Facebook feed. So thanks for joining us live. Appreciate you. Tipsy, what's up?
Not much. I'm just preparing my adult beverage for the toast.
Are you?
Are you going
Okay,
to
cool.
do that first and then recognize the fans, or what do you want to do?
Okay, cool. All right, go ahead. Because we have Tiny Bean Tara is waiting in the green room. Yeah, that's right. Hands, jazz hands. And then of course we have Erika and Gene Shanks, who's coming on. And we also have another special guest, Stephen David Brooks, who is a writer-director and made it to as a VFX supervisor, and was mentored by John Dykstra
Oh, wow.
amongst others. So we're going to ask him some, see if he has any maybe Galactica tidbits for us. So that's all part of the show. And we got plenty of updates. I hope you guys are watching for the Factory Entertainment major release tomorrow. And we'll talk a little bit about Shore
7
Leave, of
a.m.
course. Yes, 7 p.m. Eastern time.
A.m.
Yeah.
a.m. Eastern time.
Yes, there was a bunch of you asked questions about, how much the figures are and some of the other things.
We've been
We
sworn
don't
to
have that
secrecy.
info.
Sorry.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. They were sharing pictures with us over the last few days. Man, we got to see some really cool stuff, and there's more out there. There's other cool things. We'll share those when they tell us that we can. So that's coming, guys. And I hope you're checking out our webpage over at Tipsy Toaster Productions.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. You did a great job on that.
You're very welcome.
So, anyways, welcome everybody. Let's bring up Tara. She always has a box of wine.
Hey, nothing wrong with the box of wine, man.
What is it? It's better than Mad Dog 2020. Remember?
Hello, Tidy Bean. What's up? How's it going?
Hi, how's it going?
I heard that I believe one of the luge competitors is from your neck of the woods on the
Yes.
American Olympic team that won gold.
Yes, indeed. Isn't that exciting? They
It is.
train up here by me in Lake Placid, so it's really interesting.
Very, very cool. We were watching
That
it,
is cool.
and I was like, we thought of you right away when he said that he's from Lake Placid, and all the people they were like all cheering for him. So we're like, oh, Tiny B Tara.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we all have our drinks.
Yes.
So go ahead, Tipsy.
Anyways, everybody, thank you. We're here every Thursday. Don't leave yet. We're not done. We're here every Thursday, and we love our 70s, 80s, 90s pop culture, sci-fi, and we love the fans. It's so important that we recognize each other, the people who really drive the fandoms, the people who get a hold of people like Factory Entertainment and say, this is what we want, and Factory Entertainment actually listens to people,
Yes,
which is
they
crazy.
do.
And we get to talk about movies and TV shows and all that other stuff. This is a dream job. I'm surprised nobody's paying. I'm not paying anybody else to do this. I'm not getting paid either. But let's clear that up right now.
Yeah,
This is
no
not
kidding.
for profit. We don't have any money. What we do have is poured back into software and hardware. But anyways, boy, that went really way to a bad turn there for money. Anyways, thanks for coming. We really appreciate it, and we really want to thank you because we know that the fans fuel the fleet.
Fuel the fleet.
Cheers to you.
Cheers to you guys. Thanks for coming on live. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that's going on, and there is a lot of really cool, like everyone has, for the last few years, we've all kind of wondered whatever happened to, Battlestar Galactica and some of the merchandise that, we hope to see. And I'll tell you, we found, I posted up on our feed over on Facebook, and you'll see that there's these figures, right? They're like Funko figures, and there's a Lucifer, there's a Gold Commander, and there's a regular Cylon and a reimagined Cylon as well. I don't know where those came from. I stumbled on it, so you can go find them. They're on. I know that on their page, there's only two, but on eBay, I think you can find, it was a limited run of 5,000 pieces each. So if you guys are interested, there's something we've always talked about. Hey, where's the merchandise? Well, Factory Entertainment, they've listened, and they've you guys have seen the pictures, right? There's the figures, there's the actual pyramid card game and the qubits. That's a whole set that's
metal
being
cubes,
released, and a Viper, right? A Viper that you can actually put the figures in. So it's like
And landing gear.
And landing gear. Oh my God, it's so freaking cool. So all of that, I believe, will be up for pre-order tomorrow.
Hopefully
so
the
if you
gold
guys,
and silver Cylon, because that's the only really thing. They haven't made a Raider. I mean, come on. They're not listening to me.
I'm getting Boomer right off the bat. I'm
Yeah.
getting Boomer. I don't care. I'm getting Boomer. That's what I want. But some
No.
really cool
Where's
things.
where's Athena?
That might
Where's
be wave
Imperious
2.
Leader? Where's all the good
Well, wave
characters?
2, man. This is only wave 1. It's a sample,
Where's
guys.
the good characters?
If this is what you want, I mean, we've always wanted better figures, action figures. We've wanted, we're getting the figures that we never got, that we always wanted. And if we want more, we kind of, we have to kind of buy some of this stuff, right? Not kind of, we have to. We have to buy the stuff.
Yeah,
It
they're
is
not
what
going
it
to make
is.
it for free. So
No. So listen, it is, that's what's happening. So Tiny Bean, I always get to see your segment before you come on, and it's excellent. There's some stuff we'll talk about that
Hey, Pete.
resonated with me. So if Tipsy Toaster's ready, he'll go. Yeah. So what I'd like to do is, right, so you do your segment, we'll talk a little bit, and then I want to welcome everybody right after that with you. We'll talk about it, everyone that's on with us live, and just do a little shout out. No, don't do that. What are you doing? Tipsy's losing his mind.
We're in the dark.
He started losing his mind.
Excellent.
I had to. All right, give me a. There we go. There we'll go there, and we will launch.
All right, cool. So we ready to rock, gentlemen?
Yes.
Fantastic. Let me pull everything up, my man. Hello, IFB. Happy February. Hope you're all staying safe and warm. Welcome to Tiny Bean's Corner, where we discuss new, old, and otherwise interesting things for the fleet's potential viewing pleasure. I've got some very fun updates for you all, so let's dive in. So, if you were one of the many millions of viewers of the Super Bowl this past weekend here in the States, you may have seen some cool trailers of stuff that we've discussed recently here in the corner. Full trailers of Project Hail Mary and Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day hit at the Super Bowl. So cool to see that. Cannot wait for both of these. Project Hail Mary is set to release in theaters March 20th, and Disclosure Day will hit screens June 12th. So mark your calendars now. For my fans of mystery thrillers, there's a great one coming our way in a couple of weeks. Keep your eyes on the Scarpetta series hitting Prime on March 11th. Based on the very popular book series by Patricia Cornwall, Scarpetta follows a medical examiner on the hunt for a serial killer across 2 timelines. Starring the always terrific Nicole Kidman and Jamie Lee Curtis, it also features some great supporting actors like Bobby Cannavale, Simon Baker, and Ariana DeBose. This looks really good. The books are great, so if you're a fan of the books, jump right in. Check out the trailer when you can. Scarpetta will start streaming on March 11th. Now, next up, how about Nicolas Cage coming to TV in a superhero series? And no, it's not Superman. Cage will be starring in Spider Noir, which follows an aging private investigator and superhero in 1930s New York City who grapples with his past. You may remember that Cage did the voice of a version of Spider-Man Noir in Sony's animated film Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse back in 2018. This looks like a lot of fun, guys. No official release date yet, but sources say look for the 8-episode series to hit this spring. And last in previews, check out the upcoming film The Wait. This one just dropped at the Sundance Film Festival and is getting tons of good buzz. It stars Ethan Hawke and Russell Crowe. It takes place in the 1930s in Oregon during the Depression. Hawke's character falls on hard times and ends up in a horrid labor camp overseen by Russell Crowe, who makes him an offer to assist in a harrowing project for his gold smuggling operations. This pits Hawk and others against an unsavory adversary and the harsh terrain of the wilderness, kind of a staple theme in a lot of old school westerns. Sources have praised the strong screenplay, stunning cinematography, and of course, the strong actors. I have a feeling we're all going to be talking about this one. So, The Wait is projected to hit theaters June 18th. Lastly, for tonight, last week we lost one of our great comedic icons when we said goodbye to the great Catherine O'Hara. From Home Alone to Beetlejuice to Schitt's Creek, you always knew you were in for a good time if she was involved with the project. But my favorite Catherine O'Hara works were done in a series of hilarious movies I'd like to spotlight this week by Christopher Guest. Back in 1996, Guest assembled an insanely talented cast of comedic actors to create a film called Waiting for Guffman. It's about a small town community theater in Blaine, Missouri, and their hope that a Broadway producer named Mort Guffman is coming to see their work. The behind the scenes spin here is that this project and his others were not scripted. They were devised improv and set up to look like a documentary or mockumentary, if you will. So you can just imagine the work involved in putting this together. They say Guest spent a year and a half editing 60 hours of footage for the final film. It stars Guest, Catherine O'Hara, Eugene Levy, Fred Willard, Parker Posey, and Bob Balaban. If you are a theater fan, you will especially be rolling in the aisles. Next up in the Guest series, he takes his aim at the world of dog shows in his absolute classic Best in Show. If you watch the dog show like in the States every Thanksgiving, you have this movie to thank for it. They created that dog show because of the success of this movie, and it's been happening for 25 years now. In addition to all of the great actors from Guffman who return, he adds heavy hitters like Jennifer Coolidge, Jane Lynch, John Michael Higgins, Battlestar Galactica alum Ed Begley Jr., and Michael McKean, Guest's bandmate from Spinal Tap. An absolutely hilarious romp that I can and do watch over and over. And then check out A Mighty Wind. Guest turns his mockumentary skills to the world of folk music. Now, some of you might remember way back in 1984 when Christopher Guest was part of Saturday Night Live, he and Harry Shearer did a sketch about a folk trio called The Folksmen with guest host Michael McKean. If those three names together remind you of something, that's because the band The Folksmen is made up of the same members of Spinal Tap. Right? In fact, during the Spinal Tap tours in the early 90s, they would dress up as the Folksmen to be Spinal Tap's opening act. And they often got booed by the fans who didn't know who they were. Oh, well, the Folksmen get the full treatment in A Mighty Wind, along with all the other returning actors from the previous two movies, all in completely different characters. This one also features Mitch and Mickey, played beautifully by Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara. The music here is also really good. I mean, so good, in fact, that Mitch and Mickey's featured song, A Kiss at the End of the Rainbow, was nominated for an Oscar, and they performed it at the awards ceremony in character. Since Catherine O'Hara's passing, Netflix has made all three of these films available. So if you are looking for a hilarious binge watch, put these on your radar. You will truly be glad that you did. Rest easy, Catherine. Thank you for the laughs, and I hope you and John Candy are smiling. Back to you, Pete.
Oh, that's outstanding. Wow, yeah, absolutely. Catherine O'Hara, I rediscovered her watching Schitt's Creek, and I recently started watching it again, rewatch, and it's good. it's just good, and she's so talented. What a shame. But yeah, she left us with a lot of good stuff.
The
And
only
I
thing
didn't
only thing I keep hearing is Deo.
Yeah, right.
see, I didn't realize some of the stuff that you brought up. I didn't realize, oh my God, that's hers. And I haven't seen all of that. So I'm gonna go ahead and I too made some notes as Bert Oliver said he's got the notepad out. So
Oh,
yes,
excellent.
all the good
I
stuff.
Yep, I've got one for you though. You've got to watch His and Hers.
Oh,
His,
okay.
His and Hers. I think it's yeah, it's on Netflix.
I think it's on Netflix. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
My James was watching it and he said, "You
fantastic.
gotta watch this."
It's
All right, good, good.
fantastic. What a great
Cool.
yeah, John Barenthal. What a fantastic actor in this. It's like it keeps you guessing through the entire thing, and the end is going to blow your mind.
Oh, I love that. I love a strong
The end
ending.
is like, what? I mean,
Cool.
you got to watch it. Let me know what you think. At the end, I was just like, I was on the floor, just what? Just when you thought you figured it all out.
Oh, nice.
So that's my recommendation for the week for you. So
Excellent.
watch that
Thank
one.
you.
I don't get to watch
Very.
a lot of TV, but that one we just stumbled across, and we binged the whole thing. It was
Amazing.
great.
Wow. That's a major recommendation.
Yes.
But we you know that we have been following Shore Leave, Tiny Bean, and we've already announced, you're coming,
Yeah.
as is a lot of others, and you're covering multiple facets of, it's not only IFB, but Stranded Warrior, and of course you're in the Tower Protocol. But so the Raider 1 is coming to Shore Leave.
I know, right?
And yeah, it's incredible. I've never had the pleasure of seeing it. I know that Raider 1 is actually gone to several other big conventions, including Dragon Con. I've never seen it up front or up close in person. So that's great. So, we added that to our announcement list. And so we will have something in the program, right? And there's something, I think, between 2,000 and 3,000 programs are given out at the convention. So IFB is taking an ad out. So you guys that are going, look for that, and we'll have our, a QR code for it. And so you guys, if you haven't actually, we're pushing to try to get our numbers up. So we're doing that. They told us that they're going to be doing something to help promote the Stranded Warrior as well. So, right, it's going to be screened. Obviously, Tara, you'll be sitting on the panel, so we can do, the Q&A after we show both the trailer, and then we're going to show the film. And of course, it's a regional premiere. It's never been shown anywhere around, the so-called Pennsylvania area. So at the time, it might even be, it might be close to an East Coast premiere. I'm not sure yet, so I won't put it out in writing, but you'll be there for it, and we're gonna have a bunch of others, Diana
Can
Durango,
start singing.
and
What was the song that you guys sang on the stage?
All that jazz.
All that jazz.
My girl, we're working on it. Don't worry.
oh yeah. So we're gonna have a great time. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it, of course. Shore Leave has been very good to us, and so we're reciprocating in turn. So don't be surprised, Tiny Bean, when you're doing right after your spot. You see that one of the Shore Leave people come on, and so they'll be giving us updates as we get closer. Probably starting in May is what I was told. So they'll come on, they'll tell us about the guests that are coming and the like. So remember, Cassiopeia and Boomer, right? So Herb Jefferson and
Jack will be with us.
Lorette will be there. And so we'll be looking forward to grabbing them and getting pictures and stuff. So that's gonna be a lot of fun.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait.
But not to mention, right, the Star Trek, we have, there's all these Star Trek TOS actors that are going to be there. Some of them we've interviewed, some of them have been on the show. And then, of course, Stargate and a bunch of others. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
And just because you see the listed Star Trek doesn't mean they're just Star Trek. Like,
Right, yeah.
Miss
Yeah.
Temple is one of the Ovions.
Yeah, she was in Battlestar
She was in
Galactica.
Ovions.
So
Yeah.
that's so cool. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a really good time. We already mentioned that Commander Kane, Paul is coming. He's coming
Yay.
Gary.
from the opposite side of the United States, and he's coming
Amazing.
down. We're so excited to hang out with Paul. We've been with them, we've hung out before at Dragon Con and a couple other cons. We've actually met up with Paul, and everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody in the Battlestar community knows Paul. And the other thing was that BFC, Battlestar Fan Club, Battlestar Galactica Fan Club, is also behind Shore Leave, and they might be sending some reps, so they will be involved as well. So that's even better.
Mhm.
The more, the merrier.
Oh,
This, yeah. I
there are no
cannot wait,
gatekeepers
guys.
here. We invite all fans.
Everybody's coming. So we're talking with Factory Entertainment, Tara, to see if we can help promote at the convention, all the new Battlestar Galactica stuff.
What a
And
great idea. Yeah.
Maybe they can just give us like a couple of those blasters, and
Yeah.
I'm hoping we can get like one poster. I want one
poster? No,
poster on a foam board so we can put up and say,
Blaster.
"Hey guys, look,
Oh.
hey
here's
guys, look at this blaster. Check it out. Don't you want to buy
Yeah,
one? Here, scan this code.
Why don't you bring the Cylon rifle that you got as a
will.
Christmas present?"
Oh, this one? Oh, I was gonna bring the big one, but I can definitely bring this one. This one's
Well,
easier to pack.
of course
This one's easier to pack.
Well, you're
True.
gonna bring. You'll be there, and you're gonna have all your Cylon. I
Yep.
think you're gonna have Volpo
I'm gonna
with you.
unveil the new gold Cylon.
Wow, that's gonna be
This is
insane.
amazing.
Oh yeah, and I was
Come
talking
get
to
your hair done in the gold Cylon.
yes, Dave Fretz, he's coming.
Yeah.
And Dave and Gary and a
Yes.
bunch of others. So it's gonna be super super exciting, and looking forward to it.
Also,
We're gonna have a
just
great
wallet
time.
size.
Amazing. Stranded Warrior reunion, guys. It's going to be great.
Absolutely. So remember, anyone that goes to Shore Leave while supplies last, you'll be able to get a free autograph of Tiny Bean and Diana Durango and those that Superfan Fran is going. So we're gonna provide material for them to be able to give out free autographs. So on behalf of IFB and the Stranded Warriors, so that's on us. So come on down and
Count
meet.
Ibley will show up too.
Yes,
Yeah.
Count Ibley will
Yes,
be there. We're gonna have a
please.
good time. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So remember,
Evil
we're gonna have
must
a table.
walk.
As soon as we find out where they give us where the table is, that's where we'll be. We'll have the backdrop. We'll have all kinds of stuff. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And then we get to do the screening and then the Q&A and so all of that. So we have an actual panel, right? So
Amazing.
there's the screening and then followed by the Q&A/panel, and everybody will get to talk a little bit about what it was like to put together the fan film. So it's going to be fun. So just
Yes.
stay tuned. But Tiny Bean, it's always a lot of fun when you come on. And if you get a chance, take a look at the comments. There's a lot of positive energy going your way in comments. Your segment's always cool. Everybody
Oh,
loves you when you
thank
come
you.
on. So
Thank you so much. I love the fleet, guys. You guys are all amazing. You're like the best family.
It is. It's the greatest
Yeah.
family ever.
Absolutely.
very very cool. Thank you, T. This is cheers to you.
Thank
and,
you.
His and hers.
Look forward
His
to
and
the
hers.
next
Let me
time.
know what you think.
Fans fuel the fleet, guys. See you soon.
Right, cool, very very cool. Man, we got Tiny Bean coming to the Shore Leave, so that's super super exciting.
Hope she brings her box of wine.
Hey, anything's
couple.
possible, man.
couple
It's
of
a
wine
con.
box. Actually,
Yeah.
I'll bring her a box of wine. There we go.
There you go.
I don't
Now
know if
you're
white or
talking.
red. I got to figure that out. Or rosé.
Or rosé. There
Or
you
Mad
go.
Dog.
Can't go wrong with the rosé. That's
Just
right.
Mad Dog.
So
Mad
yeah,
Dog
tomorrow.
2020. If alcohol's a
tomorrow-
crutch, Mad Dog is a wheelchair.
Yes. So tomorrow's a big review.
Big
The
review.
pre-orders are
Yep.
coming up. For those of you that have been reading this, right? I want to hear some reviews. I've been reading it myself. So I want to hear. I know some of the fleet here. They've also purchased the new Battlestar Galactica, a companion to the original series. So hopefully, maybe we'll do a breakdown on this. Very interesting and very cool that it came out. I am pleasantly surprised. Right? We always talk about where's the Battlestar stuff. Well, plenty of
Here it is.
Battlestar.
Yep.
Yep, it's out. It's out there. So it's very very cool. And don't forget, it's Valentine's, right?
Yeah.
Happy Valentine's Day this coming weekend here in the States. So for those of you that are going to enjoy, or make something of it or not, well, happy Valentine's Day.
A 3-day
Either
weekend,
way,
yeah.
one way or the other. So
It's that
that
3-day
was
weekend, so that's
yeah,
perfect
it's all
timing.
good.
Yeah,
That's
perfect
right.
timing.
Perfect timing to do a little
Grab your Valentine
Valentine's.
and run away
Yeah.
to the stars.
That's
Go
right.
visit
That's right.
Carillon. I heard Carillon is
yes,
a wonderful
visit
place to
Carillon.
visit.
That's right. Well,
They
I
have fat melting baths down on the bottom level.
we have actually both our guests. Well, we have both our guests uh in the green room. However, I kind of we had a little small discussion with Gene prior to going live. So Gene's aware that he's going to wait a little bit, and we have with us Stephen David Brooks, writer director. Made worked through the ranks. At one time, was a VFX supervisor. Has done a lot of stuff out there. I did find out. I read somewhere that he at one point, amongst others, was mentored by John Dykstra, who is very dear to us because we're big Battlestar Galactica fans. So I wonder if any of that ever came up in his past. But we'll get to ask him. And he's got all kinds of cool stuff that he's worked on. And we have a bunch of cool pictures, exclusive stuff that Steven's actually shared with us. So we could share that with you guys, and hopefully any questions that come up as the interview begins, please put it up, and we'll definitely ask. But there's always those classic questions, type of fandoms and genres, and any advice on breaking in on the business, that kind of stuff that we'll talk about, and what he's up to now, and I know there's some things in the mix that we're gonna talk about, and he'll give us the lay of the land, like talk about some of the work that he's done, and why we should be watching and looking for it and where we can find it. So without further ado, Tipsy, if you want to bring in our
Sure thing. Here we
special
go.
guest, I would like to.
Oh, that's quite an introduction. By the way, people have to stick around just to see Gene's shirt.
Oh,
I gotta
yes.
say that is the coolest shirt. Whatever you do, stick around just for the shirt.
Agreed. Absolutely. Welcome to IFB Interfleet Broadcasting. Thank you for taking the time out. You've been in the business for quite some time, and you've learned a lot of what goes into being a filmmaker. So what can you how do you present yourself? Where do you start your memoir, so to speak?
Boy, that's how long do you have? I mean, the short version is UCLA Film School to working for a talent agency where I met Betty Davis, and
Oh.
she became my friend. That's why she's up there. See there? Back there? There she
Yes.
is looking over my shoulder. And she's the one who, she said to me, "Do you want to be an agent?" I said, "No, I want to be a writer director." So she said, "Then why are you working for the agency? You have to quit." And she was right. And she said, "Last day of working at the office, you have to come say goodbye to me." And I did. And she fixed me a drink. She gave me that autographed photo, and she gave me this ashtray. And she
Oh.
said, "Fellini gave this to me in Cannes in '56. I want you to have it." So this is always on my desk
That's a
as
nice
an,
memento.
as an inspiration. Yeah. So
Yeah.
That's
then I
awesome.
ended up as a PA. I got in a terrible car accident and couldn't wake up at 4 a.m. to get the bagels for the shoot. I was working commercials. And I got a call from Apogee. You're talking about John Dykstra. It's John Dykstra's company. I had left them a resume, and they called and said, we need a new driver. And I said, can I start at 9? I have physical therapy. I was just in a terrible car accident. They said, yeah, sure. So I did. And I started there at the tail end of Life Force, which actually started my whole Toby Hooper thing, even though I didn't meet him on Life Force. I saw him around. He came around all the time with Dykstra, and they were looking at the models and all that kind of stuff. And so I worked up through the ranks of Apogee. I kind of failed upward very quickly. And one day, John Dykstra, I worked on a film in Canada called Millennium, not the TV series, which I loved, the movie that I didn't really love. And I came back with a reel of fire footage, pyro, things blowing up and so on. And I showed it to Dykstra, and he goes, you should go see Toby Hooper. He's looking for a visual effects supervisor. I said, well, I'm not a visual effects supervisor. And he said, if he hires you, you will be. So I went up to the house, and the first time I met Toby, I mean, I had been Toby adjacent on Life Force, Toby adjacent on Invaders from Mars. I had never met him, never been introduced. He didn't know who I was. I was just a PA or whatever. And I go up, and he and I sit in his living room. And people, if anyone listening has ever been to Toby's house, the one in Beverly Hills, behind him was a styrofoam head with the Leatherface mask from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. And there was a gray alien head next to it that I swear was turning and looking at me. And then there was the dummy for Chop Top from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 sort of laying in a chair behind him. So that's the tableau behind Toby. And he and I hit it off right away. And I didn't know that the movie was called Spontaneous Combustion. And I showed him a reel of fire footage. He goes, oh man, that's far out. You want the job? Sure. Like John Dykstra said, I became a visual effects supervisor. Oh yeah, there's John Landis spewing fire. Believe it or not, that fire was added in post. The fire itself was created by William Hooper, Toby's son, who worked very closely with me on this movie. And then the people at Apogee matted it in. So no John Landises were hurt in the making of this film.
Thankfully.
Yeah. And then it was years later that Toby called. I'd finished Dick Tracy, and I was on the stage at Disney. Or I'd finished another movie called Wilder Napalm that no one has seen, and there's no reason to rush out to see it. Trust me. And I get a call. I'm on the stage. Yeah, Toby Hooper on the phone for you. Hadn't talked to him in a couple of years, and he called and said, have you ever written horror? I said, yeah. He knew I was always writing. I was always writing in my spare time during, one hiatus between jobs. And I had given him a couple of scripts after Spontaneous Combustion, and he called and said, have you written horror? I said, sure. And he said, pick up a copy of Night Shift by Stephen King and come up to the house and pitch it to me. I said, when? He goes, now. Okay. So I did. I remember reading that it's like a 12-page short story, read it in the car in front of his house. I'm going, I have no idea how to adapt this. There's no third act in movie sense. It's not cinematic. A lot of it's told in flashback. I went in, I pitched him something. To this day, I don't remember what I said, but he said it was far out, and he'd call Steve King and call me in the morning. He called me in the morning and said Steve King liked the pitch. He called him Steve. And they paid me $1,500 to write a draft in 10 days.
Holy crap.
What I didn't know at the time was that a lot of writers had taken a crack at this adaptation. I mean, known writers. And there's a little backstory here. Those of you remember a movie called Lawnmower Man.
Oh, yeah.
That was, in theory, based on a Stephen King short story. The only thing it had in common with the story was the lawnmower, I think. And they tried to sell it as Stephen King's The Lawnmower Man, and he said, no, that's not my movie. He goes, I think he threatened to sue them and so on. So the producers of that movie had the rights to The Mangler. So Stephen King said, I'm not going to let you make it, or something. I don't know exactly what the dialogue was, but they sold it to Harry Allen Towers, who brought in Anant Singh to finance it. And of course, Harry had worked with Toby on Night Terrors previously with Robert Englund. I think that was the name of it. And Stephen King said, I have script approval. First time he ever did that. And the reason all these other writers failed is that they tried to make it something other than Stephen King. And I went in and just said, well, just make it Stephen King-like and add Stephen King-y kind of things. And he dug that. So we started writing that first draft was really just a test to see if I would stray and do non-Stephen King-y things. And Toby liked the draft, Stephen King liked it, and then they hired me to start really working on it. And I spent months going up to Toby's house, just banging away at that script. Wow. And Stephen King was giving us script notes. I mean, we would fax pages to his agent. His agent would fax pages to Stephen, who was in his cabin writing something, whatever he was writing. He would scribble notes, fax the pages back to the agent, and they would fax it to Toby. And next day, Toby would go, "Yeah, I've got Stephen's notes here. Let's go through them," and did that for months.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
It was cool. So, and what's nice, sort of jumping ahead now, is I can tell you that it's nice that this movie, and actually all of Toby's movies, are getting a lot of love right now. A lot of the overlooked ones. And Vinegar Syndrome is actually doing a 4K restoration of The Mangler coming out in spring. They sent a camera crew up to the house to interview me. They interviewed Jeremy Crutchley, who was Picture Man. They interviewed Scott Wheeler, did the Picture Man makeup. Todd Masters, Scott Coulter, who did the other makeup prosthetic effects. And they've been like casting a wide net trying to interview people for the extras. So they're putting a lot of effort into it.
Wow, that's pretty damn cool. See, you never know. Some of these things, you work on them. We've heard this time and time again from some of our other guests that are in the business. And, they did something, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, and now all of a sudden, what's old is new again. And there's always been like this cult following, and it is what it is. The fans, it's all about the fans.
Right. Well, that's where this whole thing came from. Like 10 years ago, people started on YouTube, just fans doing reviews or posting on their blogs about this movie. And it just caught on. People are going, oh, they started reevaluating it. It's great. I mean, yes, thank you, fans. I mean, yeah, those pictures. Yeah, that one, the one of me with all the papers on the floor. Ted Levine took that picture. There was a scene. It's the scene of you, if anyone remembers The Mangler, where Hunton and Mark are driving to the exorcism, and they stop the car and they rehearse outside the car. And that scene, as written, Toby wasn't happy with it. The actors weren't happy, so they said, "Go ahead and rewrite it." So crew's standing around. I did a lot of that on that movie, and this was me. Ted was wondering why it was taking me so long, so he came up to the office. And he saw me like that with all the pages. He took a picture, goes, "Oh man," he goes, "The writer writes," or something. He made some pithy comment and then laughed and left. That was that. And then of course that's the machine that actually worked.
Wow.
It was, the story of the machine? It was, I mean, it's just, one day Toby and I, when we were working on the script, his son, William, we call him Tony, came in with a clay sculpture it was bigger than my camera can show you, about like 1.5 feet, 2 feet long. And it looked exactly like that. I mean, it was exactly, Toby and I were amazed. We go, that's the machine. So we actually shipped that FedEx to South Africa, because that's where we shot, for the art department to duplicate.
Wow.
And then Tony also created all the gears and the tubes and all the stuff, the rollers in there. The machine actually worked. You could put a sheet in one end and it would come out the other end. And if it wasn't for some problems in the construction, the folding thing at the back would have worked perfectly.
That's incredible.
And they also built, what was nice, it was really clever, is they built that big roller actually moved a little bit. So there was a stunt pad under there. So you could roll somebody in. It looks like they're being crushed, but they just drop onto a mattress. That was all Tony. Tony, amazing what he did with that machine.
Oh, that's really cool. So now you're looking back, is there anything that sticks out in terms of, you know, geez, that was something I thought then was cool and still holds up? Is anything that like that, anything
Well,
still resonate?
yeah, before, yeah, what's interesting is I watched it before the interview, which was like a month ago. And I hadn't seen it in a long time. The thing that stands out more than anything is how funny it is.
Okay.
It was intended, we had a fundamental problem. I remember saying to Toby, we have a horror movie where the machine is bolted to the ground. That's kind of a problem. A horror movie lives and dies on how mobile, how vicious, how clever the monster is, right? And so, and he said, yeah, it's all right, man. We'll figure it out. And so humor became the rapier sword for getting this point across, and Toby did say, it's about, oppressive capitalism, run amok and all this kind of stuff. And, but rather than wag our finger at the audience, we tried to make them laugh along the way.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, I actually remember watching we started off pretty much mentioning Life Force, and I went to see it in the movie theater
Hmm.
premiere day. And have you taken a chance to maybe watch that again?
I haven't watched it in a long time. And I mean, I wasn't involved. I was a driver at Apogee. I kind of watched them do it. Although I did get a screen credit in that at the end, there's like all those paragraphs of credits buried in there as Steve Brooks. And I was so excited to see, oh my goodness, I got a screen credit. But like all Toby Hooper movies, they have his a sensibility, which is a really, really, really dark sense of humor. Even after worked with Toby and I went back and watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I realized how funny it is. I mean, there's some,
Really?
yeah, I mean, like the scene where Grandpa, has the hammer and they keep handing him the hammer and he's going to bang over the head and he kind of keeps dropping it and he picks it up and he keeps dropping it. That's Toby's sense of humor.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I would be I'd be called out if I didn't ask you about Spaceballs since it's making a comeback, right? I know you had something to do with that. Can you give us a little bit on that?
Yeah. I mean, I was, motion control camera assistant, meaning I programmed the computer to move the camera and loaded the film and sent it to the lab and did that kind of thing, helped move lights around. I was assisting David Hardberger, who is a visual effects legend, worked on Close Encounters and, Jedi and a lot of stuff, Blade Runner. And, so we were shooting mainly the Spaceball 1 ship, that big opening shot that we did. And what was funny is that ship, when models are made, model makers use things, they call them nurnies or greeblies, where they kit bash. This is something that started on Star Wars. They would buy model kits of tanks and airplanes and stuff and get little pipes and conduits and things. And sort of that's how you get the texture on the model. And model makers also have a wicked sense of humor and tend to get bored very easily. So the first time we did that opening shot, and by the way, it was 3 days of shooting, 12-hour passes on that ship. The beauty pass with the lights, and then the internal lights with all the other lights turned off, and then the matte pass. So we go to dailies for the first time. We're seeing this full opening shot, and as the ship is passing by the camera, the big, what I call like the wings at the front, or the canards, at sort of those things at the front, just past that is a bas relief Roman orgy scene of people doing the most unspeakable things you can imagine, and it was full frame. And no one had noticed that on the model. And Peter Donnan, the visual effects supervisor, who had a very, very subtle sense of humor, said, I don't think Mel's going to like that. And there was no time to remake the model. So Dave Hardberger came up with the idea of just making that dark. So if you watch the movie, when you get just past the wings, all of a sudden there's this dark section, and that's why it's dark.
See, that is so cool. Oh my God, outstanding.
So
Uh,
there's only other one funny story of Mel. It has to do with Mel. Is the entire effects crew was wrapped. We had shot all the storyboards, and then about a month later, Mel wanted a new ending shot for the movie, and all the camera people were on vacation. So Peter Dine just called me and said, "Do you want to come in and shoot this last shot?" I said, "Yeah, sure." So I show up at Apogee. Peter calls me on the stage and starts explaining the shot, and he wasn't being clear, or I wasn't understanding the shot. It had to do with the Winnebago, and he goes, "Hang on, here's Mel," and he puts Mel on the phone. And Mel starts going, you gotta have the camera. He's just talking like that. And I start laughing. I start laughing hysterically. And he gets mad at me. He goes, "Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?" I go, "Mel, I'm sorry. You cannot not be funny." And he goes, and he hands the phone back to Peter. And Peter goes, "You got that?" I go, "Yeah, I'll shoot something." And that was the last shot of the movie where the Winnebago flies away with the "just married"
oh
sticker on
wow.
it.
Oh wow. That is so cool. That was you.
That
Awesome.
was me.
Oh my God. That is incredible. Um, Fast forward a little to, you work your way through, through the trenches and you end up writing and directing.
But that was always my intention. Visual effects was my day job. A lot of writers work as waiters or taxi drivers or whatever.
Yep.
I was lucky enough to have my day job be in the business. So, not knowing that my day job would lead me once again, I keep mentioning Toby, and then he's the one who gave me that shot.
Wow. And you've done a lot of music videos.
Yes, I have a lot of musician friends, so I just do that for fun.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair
yeah,
enough.
yeah.
No, that's cool. So what leads you then ultimately into, doing your own stuff? I mean, we all want to, as creatives, that's something that we want to do, but not often do we get a chance to, really, direct stuff professionally that we want to do. How did it happen for you?
Well, as a writer, producers kept dangling and I was directing second unit as well. Toby hired me to do that in Spontaneous Combustion. I did it on the Mangler. I did some stuff for New Image. I also wrote some movies for New Image, and Boaz Davidson kept dangling the directing carrot. Goes, my friend, write us another movie and we'll let you direct the next one. And of course, that never happened. Classic story. So I eventually, through some networking, found a guy who would give me $20,000, an Arri BL4, 90,000 feet of film, pay for processing, and send me a computer with Final Cut to take my script heads and tails. Could you see back? Where is it? Back there, right? And make the movie. And I said, okay. I had my friend Scott Putman, line producer, and he budgeted the script out at $5.5 million. I said, well, we have to bring it down to 20,000. So suddenly the chase on a train became a guy sleeping in the back of a parked car and things like that. I had to write it down to the budget. And Scott was very helpful and got the actors, and we just started shooting. And what's funny is I actually had an offer out to Brad Dourif for the lead, and I had lost touch with him, so I didn't have his number. So we were going through his agent, and I never heard back. So the week into shooting, I get a call from Brad. I'm on set. He goes, "Hey man, this is a great script. I'd love to do it." I go, "Well, it's too bad. We're already shooting. I recast the part. Your agent stonewalled it." So anyway, so we shot that for, the whole thing ended up costing like 50 grand, shot on film.
Wow.
I'm doing a 4K restoration now myself. I transferred it all to 4K digital and working on that. And, and then I thought, okay, well, what do I do with it now? Well, film festivals. So a publicist at the post house where I was doing the edit said, you should send it to Dances with Films in LA. They like this kind of thing. I thought, okay. So I sent it to Dances with Films. I got in and I won the audience award. And I thought, wow, I applied to one festival. I got in and I won the audience award. This is really easy. No, it's not. I got lucky, right? It's not easy, as I will soon find out. So, the assumption is always you make a movie, you win an award, and all of a sudden Hollywood comes calling. Well, nobody came calling. I was sort of back where I started. At least I had something to show. And then, a few years later, I did this short called Binky that actually had Lucy Jenner in it there she is, from Heads and Tails, and Billy, right? Billy Sly Williams right there. And it screened in Cannes. So I thought, okay, now Hollywood's going to come calling. They never came calling. Then I was in New York talking to a lawyer I know, and, he had a friend he said, my friend has been asked to invest in a movie. What are his chances of getting his money back? I said 0. Goes, oh, well then why don't he invest with you, right? and I'll double the investment. And so these two guys came in and that became Flytrap. Where is it? Over there. That became Flytrap.
Oh, wow.
So, Flytrap is still in wide release. It's on Amazon. There's Binky. On Amazon and Tubi and, all the usual places. And then, because of my having written Spiders for New Image, that Toby was going to direct. I'm sort of backtracking here. He bowed out to direct Crocodile because the script was already ready, and Boaz hired Gary Jones, director of Mosquito and worked on Xena, and one of those guys who came up with Sam Raimi and Rob Tappert and all those guys. He hired him to direct Spiders, and Gary and I hit it off. And the movie I shot last year that I'm in post on now is Heartland Horror Chronicles, right here, that Gary Jones produced. So
cool.
It's all like this, it's all, again, who it's relationships, it's being at the right place at the right time. And, it took me a while to get here, but at least I'm somewhat prepared. Had I gotten these opportunities when I was in my 20s, I would probably have messed them up.
Oh, well, I need to ask you about this then.
Okay.
So your colleagues that we sometimes get to interview here, and other filmmakers on various levels, and the like, we try to explore the concept of film school and whether it has a role in the career path. What I mean, you said you mentioned UCLA, and I just went to film school myself and got back into filmmaking, and so things have changed drastically. Things are changing, things are evolving. But in your opinion, where does school fit into the world?
Boy, it's tricky nowadays when anyone can just pick up a screenwriting book and sort of get the basics of screenwriting and pick up a book on photography or even YouTube videos or tutorials, right? I don't know. I think like a lot of higher education, it depends on what film school you go to. So the prestige of having graduated from USC or UCLA or NYU means more than what you learned there, I think. Because I think a lot of these things that used to be inaccessible, if you wanted to learn about cinematography, you'd have to go to Hollywood to Larry Edmonds' cinema bookshop and buy the one book on cinematography that existed. Nowadays, there are millions of tutorials on how to light, how to shoot, how to expose, what equipment to use. So the information that you would normally get in film school is now readily available for free. So I would say, it doesn't hurt. Film school doesn't hurt. I'm not sure it's worth spending $60,000 and taking out student loans to go to film school. If there's a community college film school and they're teaching screenwriting and basic stuff, I think that has value if you don't know that stuff already.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I've at my tender age, I've met several. I wish I could tell you that at my community college, one of the many in New York City, in the film program, I met a few that had the fire. And those out of those few, some of them decided that they weren't going to invest as much time and money into sticking around, and they figured that it was in their best interest to just go out and PA. And I don't, I was like, wow, that takes a lot of commitment, and it's I thought it was pretty cool. I just figured that there's a place for both. There's something that can be learned from, like you said, going to a community college. Not everything, and there's a lot to be said for experience as well. But if YouTube has a place, right? All of those and the books, they all have a place in getting yourself educated. But I think that somewhere along the line, a little bit, even just that little bit of the film school also can help. And if nothing else, I don't know if you agree with this. You did mention networking. I've always found I was able to attend school of visual arts, and networking is tremendous. Meeting people like-minded that have the fire, and then you go out and you actually film something, because it's not enough to just read the books and study, art, film history.
Yeah, you have to do it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, I think, and the thing about working even as a PA is seeing how a professional crew works. I've noticed a distinct difference in DPs or cinematographers. Those who work their way up the ranks, old school, film loader, or nowadays would be maybe a DIT or a second assistant, and become a first assistant, become an operator, then become a DP, maybe over a 10-year period. It's not just a matter of learning the equipment. It's not just a matter of learning the art. It's watching how the DP solves problems with the gaffer, with the key grip. How do professionals interact? How does a director interact with an art director, with a first AD? You're leading a team, right? So you don't want to be an absolute dictator, because then you shut down the creativity of the people around you. Mm-hmm. But you also don't want a free-for-all where ideas keep coming up that are not going to work, so you're wasting time discussing them. So there has to be some middle ground where you tap into the creativity of the people around you and maintain some sort of control. And you can't really learn that in film school, where everybody's learning at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yes, good point. So now, first of all, we always like to ask this. Have you lectured? Do you do panels? Do you do conventions? Is that something that
are you inviting me? Because I'm happy to do them.
Oh, well, you know what?
I haven't. I mean, I went to one convention with Toby. I just sat there, watched him, watch someone dressed as Leatherface with a bloody apron, like come over for an autograph, and all that kind of stuff. I loved it. It was hysterical. It's fun. No, I'd love to do that kind of stuff. I can tell you now, I am actually going to be hosting a podcast that's going to be coming out. I did an interview with a guy out of AFM, American Film Market, and he contacted me just to get my sort of opinion of how AFM went, and we started talking more about filmmaking and what I've done and that kind of thing. And he seemed to take to me, and a couple weeks later he said, because he owns a big media company that hosts a lot of podcasts, he said, "Would you like to host your own podcast?" I said, "Wow, okay." That's why I hope I sound okay. I just got this new mic. I actually have a whole new setup. It sounds distorted to me, but I have this whole new setup for podcasting reasons. So I'm going to co-host. He has an existing entertainment show. I'm going to co-host that for a while till we spin off and I do my own show. But I would love to, I like talking about this kind of stuff. I like interacting with people because when I was coming up, uh, there was no one to do that. I could have saved myself a lot of uh, heartache and,
Sure. I mean, having a
yeah,
mentor of sorts. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
one or two questions that you could ask and get, clarity on can
yeah.
go a long way when somebody's trying to get into into the business or just starting out with their own, film, whether it's short or otherwise. But so can you, do you know what the platform is that you're going to be on? Do you have any of the actual
Well, yeah, it's
details?
the company is called Mission Matters. And it's missionmatters.com, and they have a lot of podcasts on there. And I'm not on there yet. This is in the very early stages. But there will be, I'll have my own host page and links, and they're going to handle the SEO. And the idea is that Adam Torres, who owns Media Matters, his entertainment podcast has a built-in audience. So I'm going to co-host it for a while. So hopefully I can get his audience to be my audience when I spin off and do my own show.
Very cool.
But I'm just doing that in my spare time. I'm still making movies. I have other things coming up that, it's just something I do in my non-existent spare time.
Well, we're here to help you out as much as we can. This is all fascinating. We have a very strong following that are filmmakers that love all this stuff. Or especially your insights. We're filmmakers ourselves, so we eat all this stuff up. So please, keep that in the back of your head when the time comes. We'd
Absolutely.
love to be able to help you launch and help you get to where you want to go with that. But let's get into just a little bit more in terms of the films that you're working, that you're going to get out, and where we can see them.
Sure. At the moment, so the Heartland Horror Chronicles, which is right here, that's just the poster for IMDb. That's not the final poster that Gary Jones created. Gary Jones, um, went back to, he's from Michigan, and he went to Ohio, where Bob Kurtzman, the makeup effects genius, started a studio in this little town called Crestline, Ohio. And Gary conceived of these three movies that he calls the Heartland Horror Chronicles. Gary wrote and directed the first one, called A Dead Run, which stars Matt Fling. There's a reason I mentioned that. Episode 2 is called Appleseed. That's the one I co-wrote with Gary and I directed. We're in post now. Also stars Matt Fling as a totally different character. People are not going to realize it's the same actor. He's great in both. So we're in post on that. There's already a distributor on board, and they'll probably be selling it in can and come out later this year. The third movie is called Pumpkin Lady, directed and written by Dave Greathouse, who's a well-known makeup effects guy. So those three movies are the Heartland Horror Chronicles. The other thing I'm doing is I've adapted a novel from a well-known Canadian horror writer, guy who loves Stephen King, guy named David Talker. He lives in British Columbia, and he had an actress friend of mine, Leanne Curtis, who was in Baby It's You and 16 Candles. She did the audiobook for this movie called Spider Seeds. And she called me up and said, "Hey, this thing would make a great movie." I go, "Okay, send me the book." So I read the book. I said, "This thing will make a great movie." And she put me in touch with David. We all made a deal. I adapted the script, and we have another producer on board, and we're actually casting at the moment. Leanne is going to play the lead, Madison Perth. And it'd be nice to see Leanne on screen again. And I can't mention the name of the other actress we have attached. She's a name actress. We'll have to wait for the press release. And we have an offer out to a third actress who's also a name. And if she signs on, that triggers the money, and we'll be shooting sometime, probably summer.
Ooh, that's very exciting. Very exciting. What is your launch date for shooting? Do you have an idea?
It's taken a while to get the cast together, so I'm going to guess if we're shooting in Ohio, we have to do it before winter.
Okay, fair enough.
So
Absolutely.
probably summer. I mean, I think May, June, July are reasonable start dates.
Very cool. I will mention just a couple of our followers.
Oh, I have
Deg.
to, oh, well, I have to, before I forget, I have
Oh,
to
yes.
remember Lucy here. Where is she? Hang on, right up there. Nope. I can't, I'm backwards. There we go. Is also in Appleseed. She's the co-star with Matt Fling. So we'll
Oh,
get to
cool.
you see Lucy again. That was great working with her again. That makes our third movie together. Heads and Tails, Binky, and now Appleseed. Anyway, I had to mention that.
Absolutely, absolutely, not a problem. So Deggy Graves, Deg, thanks for joining us live. Also, professional in the business, and he's been a supporter of IFB. We've had him on and stuff. He says no ABC 1, 2, 3 formula for getting into the business. Most important aspect is drive, being good at what you do, and being easy to work with, as in a cool person.
Yes, there's everyone has a different story of how they got into the business. Being easy to work with is certainly a big deal. People will hire someone who's not quite as able as you are if they don't get along with you and they get along with the other person. So that's absolutely true. And everyone has a different path. And persistence is really the key. I can't tell you over the years how many times I was asked, all right, you're going to give the screenwriting another year, you're going to give it another 2 years. And I go, what do you mean? I'm not, there's no deadline. I mean, you just persistence because, you have to keep at it until the door opens. And if you give up, you'll never know if the door would have opened.
That's it. It's perseverance plays
Yep.
into just about everything. Just another quick comment here from another one of our fans and supporters. If what franchise, if you could choose any of the franchises out there, whether it be the horror genre, sci-fi, or otherwise, if there's one that you could choose, which one would it be?
To work on, you mean?
Yes.
Oh boy, that's tough.
Right? You pick up the
I,
phone, like you were told, you
I'm
can
gonna,
pick up the phone
yeah,
and
I'm
just
gonna
pick
throw you.
anyone.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw you for a loop here. I would do a sequel to Barry Lyndon.
Really? Interesting.
Absolutely. What is Lady Lyndon doing now?
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would make it a horror movie, but
Okay.
but there's something total counter programming to the kind of movies that are made nowadays. Barry Lyndon 2. Who would expect that?
Nobody. Very cool. Excellent. But and you're on West Coast, correct?
Yes.
All right. Well, from time to time, things do come up. Whether we sometimes collaborate or have people from various conventions on. So you never know when things happen where we might be able to put you in touch with one of these cons that are looking for you to come on. So
Absolutely.
we
Yeah,
will
that's
we'll
I'd
keep
love
it
to.
open. All right,
Absolutely.
perfect.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And we definitely want you to come back.
Okay.
We just scratched the surface. There's a lot more. So if there is an opportunity, maybe probably before you get into the shoot, and then maybe it's related to your podcast or otherwise. Let's try to program that. I definitely want you to come back, and we there's a lot more
Uh,
to discuss,
There
way
is.
more questions, and hopefully we'll get you out at some show and we get to interview you on the spot or live at a convention.
Perfect. I love it. All right.
Fantastic.
Thank
Fantastic.
you.
Oh, thank you for taking the time out. And again, open
Absolutely.
door policy.
Okay, good. And everyone stay tuned for Gene and his shirt. Trust me, you're going to love it.
Thank you again.
Okay,
Wow.
thank you.
Oh, loved it. And oh my God, wait till you come back. We're gonna have way more fun because this is just the beginning. And you got the voice, your mic sounds great, and
Okay, good.
I
Thank
think you're
you.
gonna be very successful. And hopefully you'll remember the small guys when you continue on on your
There are no small guys. There are no small guys.
Oh, I like
excellent.
that. Yeah.
I like that very much. All right, stay well, and
Okay.
we'll catch you again.
Excellent. Thank you. Take care.
Yep.
Very welcome.
Take care.
Wow. So we will, guys, we will end up we'll when the time comes, we're going to share links to the podcast when the
definitely.
products, the films, and whatever else come out. We'll share those as well.
Like a master
We'll keep
class.
an open line so we can make sure we can get that and promote those as well. And we're going to have them back. Definitely have them back, man. There's
yeah.
so much more. There was so many questions, Tipsy, and there were some other comments that we didn't get to, but I didn't want to overwhelm them as well. I mean, it's the first time. By the time our guests come back the second time, that's when we kind of,
That's when we
usually,
slam them hard.
yeah, we just, hey, we just let all the questions out and everything else rolls.
Who
But
does your hair? I mean,
yeah, we let it all out, man. That's right. But hey, very, very cool, man. I loved it. So yeah, I mean, there was other stuff in terms of the movies and which one was the normal stuff, the regular stuff, like which one of your movies you worked on is your favorite, and get some of the more experiences out of them.
But since he's creating some movies, anxious to see where me, I got the Cylon stuff in me. Where's the AI stand in the new movie
that's right.
stuff?
That's one we didn't explore, but
something you want to explore. Is that something you want to stay away from?
Yeah, especially for the special effects, and you can't avoid it. It's out there. So how does that play into someone that's actually getting this stuff and making it, and it's going to be out there for all of us to consume soon enough. That would be really cool. Very, very cool. So yeah. Well, thanks guys for joining us. That was our special guest, and we have more for you. We're not
Stand
done.
by. We've got more.
Oh, we have Erika Persiani, who usually have our convention chat with, and so Erika actually roped in a friend of hers who is a comic book creator, and that's not the only title he holds. His other title is all around groovy guy, or groovy dude, sorry.
Dude.
And so he's gonna come on. So Gene Shanks will be with us with Erika, and we're gonna talk a little bit about cons, and we'll talk about creativity and art and comic books and that kind of thing. And that's what we do here anyway. But I just wanted to, before we go too far into this, a lot of you that came on and are still with us live, thank you for taking the time out to join IFB, and then everybody else that comes on afterwards, right? Sometimes in the believe it or not, in the tens of thousands, which we love. Thank you so much for joining us in rerun. And if you ever want to go back and watch the older stuff, right? All of our
older stuff. Yeah,
I'd say 99% of all of our shows, all 300 plus,
resurrected and put them up on YouTube. Yep.
Yeah, they're on YouTube. So they're there. That's where the archive lives. And so if you ever want to catch any of the the shows that you missed, unfortunately, the future of Meta is to take down
anything that goes live, they take down. I think if you upload a video,
after 30 days,
keep it for a ways,
comes down. So
YouTube seems to be the one that'll keep all of our videos there. So
so if you want to watch any of the other
purposes,
stuff,
you want to go watch one of our shows, go back and watch the YouTube channel.
Yeah, because that's the only place that
IFB.
it's at.
That's the only place we can get it. Maybe we'll put them up on the. Even if we put them on, we can't even put them on the website because they take up so much space.
Yeah, but we can put links. There's links.
But that would just
we'll figure that out.
YouTube. So.
But speaking of links, Tipsy, our
awesome
the new webpage.
Oh, those kind of links.
Yes,
that's our new webpage. Yes.
Our new webpage, Tipsy Toaster Productions. We put up. We announced it on IFB and of course on our Facebook page, the Tipsy Toaster Productions. We're gonna, the big to do is that we're going to actually have merch. So a lot of you have asked,
baby.
Hey, how can I get a T-shirt? How can I get a mug? How can I? And we've struggled with a lot of that, and so IFB is really not the place for it, but our webpage will be, and we're gonna have the links to all our old books and stuff. Authors, of course, like Bert Oliver Boehmer, who's part of our IFB permanent staff, so to speak. So we'll have links, affiliate links on Amazon. If you're interested, you can go get, one place that you'll be able to get books.
Yes.
But there'll be other stuff there as well.
Any of our guests,
IFB,
like they have
and
videos
Tipsy
or something
Toaster.
that we can put up there. We can put them up there for them.
Yeah. So that you'll be able to find stuff there, including we're gonna have New York Pete T-shirts and Tipsy Toaster T-shirts under Tipsy Toaster Productions. So you guys will be able to get all of that stuff soon enough.
Nobody wants a New York Pete T-shirt.
Well, we'll see about that. You don't know. Don't make this a competition.
No.
Do not. I'm warning you.
You get
do
your
not.
Christmas special shirt, maybe that one.
That's a good one. I don't mind that one. I like that one a lot.
Christmas one.
We might have IFB actual shirts. So that's a possibility. See, that's a great holiday shirt.
That would be a holiday shirt.
That's another good holiday shirt. That's right. So the Christmas Tipsy. So that's what we're planning on that. Oh, that's right. In Imperial Claws. Yeah. So look, these are the things that will be available for you guys soon enough. So stay tuned. Watch the webpage, and thanks for following. Thanks for everything else. But that's where that's going to be. So we'll let you know. All right. So don't fret that. You've asked, and we shall produce. But there's some surprises in the mix. If you go to the webpage, you'll see some of the upcoming projects. Some of our books that we're working on. There'll be another audio drama.
We totally should make it a competition.
So yes, we're not making a competition.
Yes.
But all right. So look, enough of that. It's time for us to bring on Erika and Gene, and there's Erika. Erika, how are you?
Give me a second, Regina.
Hey,
I didn't know
guys.
you're gonna put them
How are you
together.
feeling?
I'm good. I didn't take the oxycodone because, well, it would be too much fun for Tipsy.
Oh, I love that picture I sent. Isn't that?
I'm glad. Yes, the bionics. Erika, for those that don't know, Erika, you usually do our segment for Erika chats, convention chats and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, you had to do some work on your ankle, your foot, I think, and you're healing. I'm glad. I'm very thankful and grateful for that.
Feeling well.
Good. And I'm glad that you're able to come on, and we're gonna have Gene Shanks on here in a minute or two.
Gene, you guys are gonna love his shirt, I swear.
Oh yes, so there's plenty that was brought up already. So he chose wisely tonight. He chose.
Just so you guys know,
wisely.
I did not tell him anything what to wear. He chose Gene. This is all Gene.
Smart man. He knows what he's up to. He knows what he's doing. But he's gonna come on. He's gonna tell us about his work. We got to discuss a little bit about conventions. Gene, thanks for taking the time out. Welcome to IFB. How are you tonight?
Oops.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure.
Hey there, Gene.
It's a pleasure. Hey, how you doing? So, Gene, you are a writer. You are a creator, but that's not limiting. Right, that's not meant to limit your creativity and your skill set. You've done a lot of different things. So give us a little bit of background on who you are, and let's get into it.
Well, I've been drawing since I was 5, and I wanted to be a cartoonist since I was 6. My Aunt Linda bought me my very first comic book, and I was addicted ever since. So I've been all through school, always drawing. In fact, I always get in trouble because after a test, I'd be drawing stuff on the back of my tests. And then eventually I went to the Joe Kubert School because I wanted to become a cartoonist, obviously. And after graduating, I learned that I had to get a job.
Oh.
So
oh man, that living indoors and eating thing.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to do the freelance thing, but I wound up working at a comic book shop, which was appropriate. And in the meantime, I wound up started doing some political cartoons for one of the local weekly papers in Winston-Salem. And while I was there and I was trying to finish up my cartoon, I noticed that the art director was running around like a chicken with her head cut off. And so I said, "Hey, what's wrong?" And so she said that she had two people quit on her that morning.
Oh.
So I said, "Well, I've been known to do a pretty mean paste up and mechanical. Of course, I just aged myself because they don't do paste up mechanical anymore." And so she walked away. I finished my cartoon, and then she threw an application on my desk, said, "You're hired." And so not only was I doing some cartooning, but I also got into the graphics end of it. And so I've been combining both of them ever since. And wound up going to the Winston Journal for a little bit. And one of my first cartoons there was a series called Classified Claude, which appeared in the classified section. It was just an advertisement to kind of promote their classified section. And then I just kept in the newspaper business for 20 years. And when that industry kind of died out, I got into screen printing and all that stuff. Just doing cartoons on the side. And then 2022, I believe it was, I got diagnosed with cancer, So while I was going through that, I knew I was going to my insurance was going to pay for a lot of it, but it wasn't going to pay for all of it. I was like, what can I do to make some extra money? So I started doing some investigating. I found a printer that does low print runs. And so, what? I got some stuff I've never published before. I finished it up, packaged it all together. And so I hit the comic book circuit and trying to sell my comic books ever since.
Wow. All right. Nothing wrong with any of that. So where does that, so now you and we talked a little bit about, the con scene, but, I don't know, Erika, how did you and Gene, what's your connection?
A comic book convention.
A comic book convention. It was it Eastgate or the other one?
It was Eastgate.
Eastgate.
Yeah, you guys are right across from a friend and I.
Yeah. I was with the Star Trek group. I was their special guest. In my Galactica uniform as Captain Agathon. And he was across from us with Angela. I think is her name.
Yeah.
And we just started talking, and then here we are.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was Eastgate last March.
See, that's how it is, like the world of conventions. That's
you meet
supposed to be. Yeah,
you meet some of the coolest people at conventions, comic book creators, actors, film producers. I mean,
I met some of the coolest people in line waiting to go to somewhere else. Yep.
You meet some pretty cool people online too.
Online, yes, online. Sometimes those lines, especially at the bigger cons, those lines, and you start commiserating because when you go to a con, you're in your world. These are your people, right? You like it a lot. I mean, if you're in a con, this is it. This is so you just start talking. I have over all these years, I don't have any negative experiences with, other con goers. Whoever they either talk to you, talk to them, and you're, there's a common bond. Gene, what's your take on the evolution? You've been to a lot of cons, so you've seen how things have evolved. So what's your take on that?
Well, I've seen it go from strictly comic book collecting people to including celebrities to include now a lot of them are just pop culture shows.
Yes.
And you have a lot of people who do anywhere from the 3D printer figurines that they create to what is it? Not cross hatching, but
cross stitch.
Yes, the cross stitching, and they make these little fancy little stuffed animals with them and stuff. So it's an interesting take, and I think now comic book conventions have a little bit of something for everybody. Even if you're not necessarily a comic book fan or a sci-fi fan, you can go to a show and still have a good time. Especially with cosplayers, if you like to people watch, conventions are a great way to just go people watch and look at the detail that these people put into their costumes. Some of them are amazing. And you know, of course, some of them are just, you can tell it's a homemade costume because they're piecing things together. But the point is, they're still out there. They're celebrating their hobby. They're something they're interested in. They get to share it with people, like-minded people who are interested in the same thing.
That's cool, right? I mean, if you were going to summarize it, you kind of just did, and that's awesome because there is just like a little bit for everybody.
Yeah.
And I know that both you, Gene, and Erica, you've been on both sides of a table, right? So
Yeah.
you know what it's like to be a fan and walk around and take things in that way, and also to be a part of a group and to sit on the other side of the table. And like yourself, Gene, it's your work. You're a comic book artist, and you have various issues and series and things that you're putting out there. These covers are black and white, but your comic book is actually color covers. And I think
black and white interiors.
Yeah. So I think we may or may not have the actual colors of those. So with apologies, there you go.
Yeah, that is my 4-issue miniseries.
All right. We made it work.
That is my fundraiser for my cancer bills. It's the most narcissistic comic book series you'll ever find in the market because it's all about me. But it's okay because I make it funny.
There you go. So, lay it out, man. Tell us that's one. Are there others? What is that one about? Like, give it to us.
Well, I mean, that's my first series, and that's the one I push the most. But I also have just here started a second series, and it's called Odyssey Comics: The Greatest Universe That Never Existed. And what it is, I'm taking all the characters that me and my friends created when we were kids, rewrote them, redrew them as an adult, and I'm making kind of what I call a Daze series, or better descriptions like a Marvel's universe or DC's Who's Who style book with the characters. And I have write-ups, I have illustrations of all the costumes they had over the years, because you get bored looking at a costume, you want to change it. And there's because there's going to be over 1,500 characters by the time we're done. And I also have a character from every nation on the planet.
Ooh.
So I'm hoping that when I get them all published, I can maybe send it to the Guinness Book of World Records and maybe have a record of the most amount of characters in comicdom. But I gotta get them printed so they can be official.
All right. So wait a minute. I gotta ask you some questions about this now.
All right.
All right. So it's a comic book superhero or a character from every nation in the world. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
All right. So how do you do that? How do you just you go?
A lot of research. A lot of, I started off with just learning what all the countries were, learning languages, and then using Google Translate. Just throw in the word, like spider. It's like, oh, that looks like an interesting word, the way it was in the native language. And so I just create a character based off of it. Now, I'm not saying they're great characters. Some of them you can tell I just kind of whipped it up and used a lot of different elements of other things, but it's still a character. So I just kind of went with that, and I did that on a whim. And I already had about 50 different nations already created. So I did the other 150 or so just to finish it up. And it was just something I had fun to do with. And I even got a couple from my friends to help me out. And they created characters, and I kind of created the look of them and edited them and maybe made a few stamps to make it fit into my universe. But it's a complete universe, and we have about 200 planets even that have characters from them. So it's a complete universe. To say we were over creative is an understatement.
Okay, so this is fascinating, super fascinating. what do you do with all these characters now that you've named them, right? You've created them, and they live now in this world that you made. Where do you go with them?
Actually, I got too many to do anything with, so that's why I'm just doing them in a dossier book.
Okay.
And if down the road, maybe I might do something else with them, but I prefer to do the humor books. So that's where the stories, the actual stories are going to come from, or my humor books. For instance, I got a superhero spoof that I've got penciled. I just got to do some rewriting on it a little bit and get it inked, and still trying to think of what to name it. And I've got as you saw with the 4 comic covers that you showed, one I had a Mr. Gene Meets Bigfoot. Well, I'm going to do a sequel to that one because that's my bestseller. I don't want to give the title, because if I give away the title, someone else could beat me to it. So I'm in the thinking stages of it. I haven't worked out quite the plot yet. Once I do that, then I'll be able to finish writing it, penciling, and all that stuff. So, but one of the ways I got them published was I sold advertising. We live in a day and age where everyone's trying to do a Kickstarter here or whatever to get people to just give them money. Well, I'm very old school, my newspaper background. So I sold ads. And I had a lot of people that wanted to support me because they knew what it was for. A lot of local comic shops bought an ad in it. A lot of my friends from high school bought ads in it. But I was able to do it to where I could develop 4 issues. And I'm very thankful for them. And in fact, when you see me at a con, you'll see a whole list of all of my supporters. So I'm trying to give them as much publicity as humanly possible as well. So
very cool. So the ads, you have, were you setting up ad space in the comic book?
Yes. Yeah. So the way I designed it, I did 24 pages of story, and then I had 8 pages of ads. And I got a discount at the printer by giving them the last page.
Okay.
So, okay, yeah, I can do that.
That works.
So actually I had 7 pages to sell. And I was so shocked that I was actually able to sell a couple of full page ads. I had sizes set up for full page, half page, quarter page, and an eighth of a page. And I kind of figured I'd have 7 pages, nothing but eighth of a page ads. But surprising enough, I was able to sell a couple of the full pages. I got a lot of half pages, and so it's it's a little bit different than how everyone else did it. But I've known some people who just started Kickstarter to do their book 3 years ago and still haven't been able to raise enough money to do their book. And I felt I was more under pressure because I need to get some extra income to help pay off my medical bills. So I went old school.
So, all right. So you were able to actually do your first run of the comic book.
Yeah.
Okay. So where are you now? Are you in the second run, third run?
No, I'm still selling the first run.
Okay.
I even though it was a small print run, it's pretty large. I did 1,000 for my first issue. And I'm about halfway done selling all of those, because everybody wants a number 1. So yeah, I focus on that. 2 through 4 are all 500 print runs, and I'm probably I only got about maybe 200 left of the Bigfoot, and wow. the rest of them I still have plenty of. And it's just it's a labor of love, and of course, I try to sell them at shows, and of course, being a humor book and everyone there wants superheroes, it can be a tough sell, and I get a lot of rejection. So that you have to just bite the bullet and take the criticism or whatever. I mean, I've done my entire spiel and people just say okay and walk off.
Right.
No sell. And then I have some people I thought weren't even interested, and so I did the spiel, and all of a sudden they bought the whole line. So you never know what kind of day you're gonna have, which is both scary and intriguing at the same time. I've had some shows I did awesome at, and I've had some shows where I barely paid for the table.
Wow.
So it's a hit or miss, but that's the humor market. Whether I should try other places outside of the comic book conventions, I don't know. I enjoy doing the comic book conventions. So always meet interesting people. And then I do drawings for people out on the side. I had one guy that saw me drawing, and I was just doodling just to show I actually can draw. And all of a sudden he goes, can you do a cover for me? I was like, sure. So he hands me one of those covers where you can draw on the cover. You have a personalized cover, and asked me to draw his girlfriend as Wolverine.
Oh, wow.
So now every time he sees me at a show, he brings me one, and I do a cover for him.
Cool.
So it's good to have a repeating customer. But yeah, I was just it's something fun to do. I raised just enough money to help pay off a little bit of my debt every show I go to. So it's a win-win, really. I have fun. I've met a lot of interesting people like Erika, and a lot of different cosplayers. And I actually met a girl who was dressed up as Squirrel Girl. So I've got a comic book for you, because in my Mr. Gene Meeks Bigfoot, I have a story called Zippy the Killer Squirrel. He happens to be the world's worst assassin. So the story is he's trying to kill me, but he keeps missing. So, and then with the Bigfoot story, I decided to write it from Bigfoot's point of view. So it starts off with two Bigfoot walking, complaining about humans, wondering what their fascination is with their feet. And, so it goes on from that. And first issue, I even, went back when I was working in a comic book shop. I've had this conversation a million times with a million different collectors. What would you do if you had a time machine? Well, 99 out of 100 times it was go back in time and get a copy of Action Comics #1. So I wrote the story about it. So, and I inserted my friend Rob in it. He's also a comic book collector. And so he and I go have this misadventure through time. And just to kind of throw things off, I drew us as cartoons, but I used photographs in the background just to make it look different. And so that's the main thing of issue 1. In issue 3, it's called Mr. Gene Saves the World. Well, if you understand the joke on the cover where I'm asking the alien to pull my finger, you understand how I saved the world. So it's about me being beamed up on board and doing something that they kick me off. So, and then the last issue, I have a shark attack, sort of. I run into the ocean and I bump head nose with a shark, and he's just as scared of me as I am of him. But he looks like he's attacking me. So, I just try to think of something absurd, bizarre.
That's really cool. So, Gene, how do you pick the cons that you're going to go to?
Whichever ones I can get in touch with the promoter. So far, I've stayed in North Carolina, which is my home state. Back when I was working in the comic book retail business, I knew a lot of the promoters. So, and just about every single promoter or comic book shop in the Triad knows me. They already knew me even before I started doing the comics. So, I just had these personal relationships. So I said, hey, let me know when you're having a show. I'd love to be in it. So they'll let me know when the show is, and they'll tell me how much the tables are for artists. If it's within reason, I'll buy a table and I'll go to it and just do what I can to make some money.
I hear you. So if you were able to choose between, a small, medium, or large, and when I say large, I'm talking New York Comic Con or Dragon Con,
Galaxy Con.
Yeah, right. We're talking like the real big ones. Would you go to those over, a smaller medium?
No, wait. I like the medium size.
Medium size, okay.
Because you can have more of a one-on-one reaction with people. even if they don't buy my stuff, you can have a chance to at least make a fan out of someone. And I have people who really like my stuff, but they don't collect humor. So they choose not to do it, but they always come around and say hello to me. There's nothing wrong with that. But I've done the hero show in Charlotte, and that's the biggest one I've gone to. And I'm getting ready to do a 3-day show in Raleigh on February 20th. So that's another 3-day show that is their first one. So I have no idea what to expect. I have no idea how many people are going to be there. It could be a bust. It could be the best show I ever had. But with Heroes, it's kind of funny because, if I can get the people to come to my table, I can talk to them, and a lot of times they'll take a chance on it. And I've had I went to one show where they bought one book, read it during their break, came back and bought the rest of the series because they thought it was that funny. So that's always a huge compliment. So like I said, you just never know how a show is going to go.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's hit or miss. What's give me what, like, the best show that you went to for whatever the reason is. Tell me a little bit about that.
That's hard to say. I've had some really good shows, and most of them were in the medium size. I do Hickory a lot, and one thing about Hickory is I've gone and not sold one single book, but I made a ton of money because I had a lot of people like my artwork enough they wanted to hire me to do the sketch there. And those can be just as fun as not selling a book because I like to draw, and to be able to make money doing something I love is awesome. It's what's that saying? If you do what you love, you never work a day in your life.
Right.
That's how I feel about these shows. I'm not really working. I'm just showing up and trying to have fun. So it's really hard to say. I mean, I love Heroes because I grew up with that. I was at the very first Heroes convention. I've been to all but 10 of them, and they're close to a little over 40 years.
Wow.
And I've been a collector. Been there as a collector. I've been there as a vendor because I used to work for Heroes, and I've also been there as a creative person. So I just have a lot of fun with that one. I run into more of my old friends from my shop days there. And sometimes that's even more fun than anything, is running into someone you haven't seen in a long, long time. And I've gotten to know some of my fellow vendors like Erika, whenever she's at the same show, we always make sure we talk to each other. It's like seeing old family.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Gene, we got your QR code up. So
okay.
Tell us about, what can we do with that QR?
Well, that will take you to the site called indieplanet.com. And there you can buy any of my books. They're all on there because it's actually the company that prints my books also owns the Indie Planet. So it's a print on demand service, meaning in order for me to get something on that site, I just have to order one book and they'll wind up putting on that site. It's a good way for people who don't run into me at shows to be able to buy my book. It's also a way, even if you live in North Carolina and you find out I'm going to a show, you can buy it there and bring it to me to sign. I don't charge for signatures. I think that's the dumbest thing on the planet because I'm one of those guys that believes the fans made you, so you owe them a signature that costs you anything. But I get I get the guys who have been in the business a lot longer than me and who are a lot more popular. I get why they have to do it, because if they didn't, you'd have lines forever, and they would the arm would fall off if they didn't. So it's kind of a two-hand thing, and I might have to change my mind if I ever became a big enough guy that I didn't have to pay for shows. But I'm a long way.
All right, soon, very soon, Gene. I hope it's very soon. We are looking forward to getting Erika back up and about so that she's at the cons and telling us how you guys are sharing the cons and your stories and coming back and reporting. But Erika, I know that it's going to take a little bit a while for you to get back out there, but that's
I'm gonna
okay.
try. I'm gonna try if Eastgate does a spring show to get there as a fan.
Okay.
So if Gene is there, I will do a live video so he can say hi. You guys can say hi.
Eastgate's one of those I try to go to.
That'd be cool,
Right. So if I can get to Eastgate as a fan, and I'm more mobile than I am now, I'm on crutches now. Until next week, I get the stitches out next week.
You get you one of those little wheelie things where you just put your knee on it.
Yeah,
you can
that's a great
make
idea.
motorcycle noises.
Yes,
as you're going through the hallway.
That's right. Oh, that's a good one, Gene. I like that.
We'll
See,
make it look like a viper and everything.
Put a helmet on, and everything.
that's Gene's humor that's in the comic book. I know it.
That can be my viper.
Yeah, of course. You just put all the different things, and then on the handlebars, you're gonna put the strings on the handlebars.
The streamers.
There you
The
go.
streamers, yeah.
My late friend Jessica,
gotta have a bell.
actually,
Gotta have a
before
bell.
she passed away, offered me her scooter, her knee scooter, and I didn't take it because I was like, no, I'm not gonna need the surgery.
You see, sometimes,
Totally should have.
well, guys, listen, we need to do some shout outs here on IFB. So if you would just bear with this. Erika is well informed. She knows what we do. She knows the drill. But Gene, if you just take a second here, I need to recognize some of the people. But before we go deep dive into the shout outs, I wanted to mention something that I thought was extremely relevant based on your experiences working in the comic book shops. Deg, also having run a comic book store for years, easiest place to make instant friends is there, then cons, then movie lines waiting to see classic blockbusters, instant shared interests. 100%. That I truly believe in that. I've experienced it. And so even when you go with friends to the con, there's always room to make more friends. And you kind of alluded to that, Gene. But look, we have a bunch of supporters, fans, friends, family that are watching, have tuned in. George G and Kim Harms and Paul, Commander Kane, Paul Rotter, of course, Deg,
you need your mask, sir.
and Rob Baum. Oh yes, I am sorry. My apologies for not using the magic Viper helmet. That
The magic mirror Viper helmet.
Yes, and so I see.
one too.
Oh, I see Lola. I see Lola.
Her name
and
is
Fran,
Lola.
Superfan Fran, and Chris Laskowski from Down Under, and Patrick Jacobs and Ralph Duran, Erika Riley, Rick Moreno, of course, Mediocre Modeler, Ronan73, John 1, Janet Jenkins, and of course Lucas Gabriel. I don't know, I hope I didn't miss anybody. Let me just quickly look to see. I mentioned our unofficial fact checker, of course, Rob Baum is with us, and yes, I did say Kim Harms. Okay, and Erika Riley, yeah. So those are the ones that I can see. There might be more. There's usually others on some of our other social media places, and of course, there might even be some that are watching us on the YouTube channel. But hey, listen, guys, thank you so much, Gene. We hope that we get a chance to run into you.
I have one question.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Tipsy.
So he had mentioned he got his first comic book. Do you remember what it was?
It was a Superboy. I don't exactly remember the number. I think it was around 248 or something like that. But the cover had criminals beating up Superboy with a kryptonite trowel. I remember the image.
Interesting.
I have it.
Oh, that's cool.
I rebought it years later because I read it to death, and so it wound up getting thrown away. But I found it, and so I still have it in my collection.
You know, Gene, I did that a couple of years ago. I rebought a Batman that I had grown up with when I was like 7 and traded it away. And then I found it and I was like I hunted it down and I bought it. And it's not a great one, but it was, you know, one of those comic books that you had when you were a kid, you read so many times. And I got it, and it you know, it means something to those of us that, you know, collect and stuff. But yeah, we Chris, can you put up the QR code one more time in case
I most
anybody
certainly can.
wants to get any of Gene's comic books?
I also put a link to that site.
Oh, good.
Up in the chat.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so there is a link as well.
Yep.
But if anyone wants to, there you go.
Break
Scan
out those
the QR.
phones, ladies and gentlemen, and grab this picture and have it zoom right in on you.
Yeah, and you can get one
Let
of
the
Gene's
Cylons talk through your phone and send you to the location that you need to go to.
Bye,
they may take over your phone. Be careful, guys.
That's right. They may take over the phone. That's right, Erika.
That's right.
So very cool.
May take over the. We already have.
Gene,
You know, on virus and all.
Yeah, Gene. Thank you.
They've already
so
implanted
much
in your ankle. You just don't know it yet.
for taking
Oh,
the
is that what
time
that
out.
is? Okay.
Really appreciate you coming on
Anytime.
and sharing all of this stuff with us. And we hope that when you're ready to release the next series, next issue, whatever it is, reach out to Erika and we'll have you back on.
You know how to do that?
All
We'll
right,
talk
I'll
some
even tell
more.
you. I'll tell you the story about how when I met Richard Hatch at a comic book convention.
Oh, really?
I knew he was.
Whoa.
I knew there was
Wait a
going to be
minute.
Richard Hatch.
We wouldn't take
story.
time for that
All
one
right,
now.
go for it. You
Let's
got
go.
to now. You
Come
get you let. Yep.
It's a
Get
very
it
out of the bag on that one.
It was a very simple story. I was at Ex-Con in South Carolina, and he was the guest there. And unfortunately, he was just sitting there twiddling his thumbs. Not a lot of people there.
It's funny that you say thumbs.
I had actually brought something from the sign, but I didn't realize how much he was asking for autographs, and also found you had to buy something for him there to sign. So I was like, well, I just walked up to him and said, Mr. Hatch, I just wanted to come up and say hello. I can't afford any of your stuff, but I just wanted to thank you for all the work that you've done with Battlestar Galactica. I really enjoyed it as a kid. And I really enjoyed it. This is when the new stuff was still fairly going around. And so I had to comment. It's like, I can tell you're enjoying your new character a whole lot more than Apollo. And he goes, well, the writing is much better too. And so
I think Richard just likes playing bad guys.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit. I shook his hand and wished him luck. And of course, this was a year and a half before he passed away. So I was very fortunate I got to meet him before he passed.
Wow. Yeah, that's really cool. Great story. That's pretty much in line with, you know, everyone else that, you know, we've ever heard stories, you know, tell stories about Rich. And it's a shame he went, you know, too soon, but he left a really good legacy behind. And so we're all happy that he was the type of person that he was. And Gene, you know, lots of luck. Please come back to us. We want to talk more. Definitely want to talk more.
Yeah, this is fun.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Erika, thank you very, very much for making the connection and bringing, you know, introducing Gene to us. So we'll do this again for sure. And of course, once, you know, you working your way through the process, Erika, you'll be back to do your segment. And, you know, we look forward to having both of you back. So thank you. And, you know, thanks everybody for tuning in. And remember, if you want to get any of Gene's work, we put the link up, and, you know, we had the QR up as well, but the link is up. So please don't hesitate. And Gene, if you're going to be doing another series or anything, if there's any ad space, let us know. We might be able to help you out there too. So keep us in mind.
I will.
Absolutely. Here's to you and your work. Keep up the good work. Erika as well, thank you for doing what you do with us here. So cheers.
Thank you.
So Tipsy, There's I think a couple of
Hang on for a second.
Okay.
I had to fix my hair. I just
there-
put it on the camera. I was like, the hell? It was like
there's Valentine's Day coming. Oh yeah, leave it like that. What the hell? Valentine's Day is this weekend.
There you go.
And what is the matter with you, man?
I don't know. It's just
There
going
you go.
crazy tonight.
I don't know. You're just losing your mind. You're losing your mind. It's not that big a deal. You're okay. Trust me, you're okay. But
too many buttons to push.
Too many. You got to stop looking at 6 screens and make it just 2 screens.
I only got 4. Well,
4. Okay, good.
And a phone.
Don't go. Yeah. So listen, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We had a great show. Great guests. Man, so cool. Steven and Gene and Erika was with us, and all you guys that tuned in. Thank you very much. We have a lot more. Quick update on Once a Week for Life. Right, the crime thriller that both Tipsy and I are both in it. I was a production manager, and the first installment, the first feature-length movie, is having a limited release. Belmore, Long Island movie theater, April 10, 11, and 12. I will be there April 10th, and there's going to be a red carpet for that premiere. And then April 14th. It's going to be out on Apple and Amazon, Spectrum, and it'll be streaming. Cool. So we will have George Zuvalos, who actually stars in The Stranded Warrior, plays Captain Martin. He's the writer, director, and producer of Once a Week for Life. And so we're going to have him on with Diana Durango, who's in Once a Week for Life, as well as Tipsy and I have bit parts in it. So it was a lot of fun, right? It's a crime thriller, Once a Week for Life. Watch out for it. And I posted another selection that we got for the Tower Protocol, and we're wrapping up the Stranded Warrior Festival run. So we'll be hearing from the rest of those in the next few months. So thank you, Tipsy, for all the work that you do here and for all the other stuff.
Thank you.
And it's a great thing.
It is. It's always fun to come on. I look forward to every Thursday. There's never been a point where I'm like, oh God, it's Thursday again. Never, never, ever, ever. I don't think there ever will, because we always have a good time. We always have great guests. We always have a good conversation, and it's all about just communication and family and fandom and seeing all the cool stuff that's out there and talking to the people and seeing how they did. I didn't know tonight. I was watching him talk about the comic book company that you just send them a comic book and they'll create it for you, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, they print it up, print on demand.
Print on demand
really
comics.
Cool.
I was like, I knew they were out there, but I'd never really seen a company until I popped it up on the screen up here, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. That works.
It does. And we have some ideas for our own comic books, so stay tuned for that. One of the projects is called The Masked Nose, so we'll keep you posted.
Not the masked nose, but the masked nose.
Nose, yes, that's right. Very good. Well, guys, it's that time. Thank you for tuning in.
Please tell me it's not.
Appreciate everybody.
No, I don't want to go. You can't make me turn it off. No, I won't.
Next week. There's always next week. Same bat channel, same bat time.
I switched over to the green stuff. So anyways, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. Don't forget to like us, follow us on the social media, YouTube and Facebook. And we will see you next week. Same bat channel, same bat place, same bat time. 8 o'clock Eastern. Take care. Stay safe. And happy Valentine's Day for those people, or Palentine's Day for those people who do not. So, anyways, have a great one. And here's to you, because fans
feel the fleet.